Hello, welcome to Pike Creek Farm. My name is Renee and we're going to be canning today. We're going to make some chocolate cherry jam. These cherries are off my tree. I have 6 cups here. And the way you can can this with chocolate is we're going to use cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is used, not chocolate chips or anything like that. This is dry, so it is safe for canning. This is a ball recipe, and I will put the link down below. If this is your first time to my channel, thank you so much for coming. I like to do videos on canning and vintage recipes and cooking and baking, and my name is Renee, so thank you for joining me today. We're going to get the first part of this jam going. I do have my steam canner filled with water to the level of the shelf, and I have it getting warm. I have my 4-jar lids are in hot water as they recommend, and I have my jars all washed and sitting with hot water in them to stay warm for the jam to go in. And I've made sure the rims were all perfect, not chipped. So we're going to put this jam together. I think this jam will be wonderful on ice cream. If you want to make it a little thinner, you can microwave it to put as a layer between some cakes, or before you put icing on just even a rectangle cake. It will be really good, I think, if you take crescent rolls and spread it in there and roll them up, or inside some cinnamon rolls for something extra special. So I think this will be fun to have on the shelf, and it'll make nice gifts too. So I have 6 cups of cherries that I have washed, pitted, and made sure there's, no bad spots or anything. And they need to be coarsely chopped. So I'm just going to use this to chop them up before I add my pectin and lemon juice. Now the recipe from Ball calls for 6 tablespoons of pectin, because they sell their pectin in little bottles. That is the equivalent to 1 box. So I will be using 1 box because I could not find the Ball pectin. So I'm going to get these chopped up, and then we will add the rest of the stuff. Now we're going to add a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. And 1 box of pectin, or 6 tablespoons if you have the bulk. And we're going to turn the heat on and bring this up to a full boil that can't be stirred away. The next step is to get the sugar and cocoa ready to add. I have 6 cups of sugar in here. To that we're going to add 2/3 a cup of cocoa, and I am using Dutch cocoa that I got from the Mennonite store. I'm going to use a little whisk to mix it all together. in case you didn't know, you can't double jam recipes where you add the pectin in it. It won't gel up correctly. It's starting to come to a boil, but I can stir it away. So it has to be hotter than this and boiling more vigorously. We are to that point where it's a full boil that cannot be stirred away. So I'm going to add in the sugar and cocoa mixture. Get it stirred in, and then let it come back to a boil. And set the timer for 1 minute. I always set my timer. Ooh, that changed the color. It smells very chocolatey. Chocolate, well, okay. It smells like chocolate. So this needs to come back to the full rolling boil. Okay, it's starting to boil. Okay, I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute because it's a boiling. Ooh. There we go. I'm going to remove this and get the jars, and I'll bring you back to jar it up. I'm going to skim off. There's a little bit of foam. I should try the brush. I used the brush for, I forget what jam it was I did. Rhubarb jelly. Okay, so that's pretty much all the foam. We want 1/4 inch headspace. Which is almost to the top. Just that little bit there, or the top there. Wipe the edge. This ends up more chocolate than I thought, which is pretty cool. Put the ring on finger tight. That didn't feel like it was threaded right. There we go. And onto the steam canner. Okay, I need a towel to hang on to them to put the lid on. It's hot. Let me know down below if you've ever made this and what you've used it for or what ideas you have. Finger tight. Easier to do with a towel cloth to hang on to the jar. Cherries cooked down quite a bit. I wasn't sure if they would. So I'm going to keep jarring this up and I'll bring you back for the process with the steam canner. Last jar is in there. I ended up with 8 half pints and it said 6, I believe. So I have more. I measured everything. I didn't press down or anything. It's always a mystery to me how that happens sometimes. But let me bring you over and show you the next step with the steam canner. Now you can do this in the water bath canner. You can put these jars in the water bath canner, make sure the water is 1 to 2 inches above them, put the lid on, bring it to a rolling boil, and set your timer for 10 minutes. We will set our timer for 10 minutes too, but we have to get it up to the right amount of steam on the gauge so the heat is high enough. So let me show you what I mean. Here's all the jars and I'm going to turn the heat up. I just had it on warm. I'm going to put the steam canner on, get that lid in there tight. Let me push it. It settles down in here. And on this gauge there's a green area. It depends on what zone you live in. And let me see if you can. And I did a test run to see how high it will go here, and I marked that with a black Sharpie. Now, this is the directions for my steam canner. Make sure you follow whatever came with your steam canner. I mean, this is the Fruit Saver one, and your directions could be a little different, you know. They all have their own way, just like if you have a pressure canner, follow the directions for your brand of pressure canner. So I just need to wait for it to get up to the gauge at that black mark and then set my timer for 10 minutes. Then I turn it off and I let it set for at least 5 minutes. I go between 5 and 10 and then I remove them just like you do a water bath canner. It is up to the mark. So I am going to set my timer on 10 minutes. 10 minutes, 8 minutes passed after the timer, and I took the lid off. No siphoning. I got nervous at first because this ring I thought was siphoning, and it's just a printed ring. So I will remove them to the canning mat now. Here are the chocolate cherry sauce jam. So far it hasn't, it's still saucy, not real thick, but I'm okay if it doesn't thicken up because I wanted to use it more as sauce. And 2 jars are already been cleaned. Whoops! 2 jars, I can't get the color for you. Two jars have been cleaned by kids. So you can kind of see there the reddish color. It tasted great though out of the, we were licking the pan after I put it all in the jars. And these are all washed and labeled and ready to go on the shelf. Thank you so much for watching today. And if you like this video, if you push the like button, it really helps. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here. See you next time at Pike Creek Farm.